Dr. Mahathir, thank you for allowing me to interview you on your thoughts on three major issues confronting our region, particularly younger generation. We have this ongoing war in Ukraine and the United States and NATO support, and also China and Russia on one side. What are the implications for Southeast Asia, particularly societies here, because of another big war? We had the Vietnam War in the 1960s in our backyard, but this was a bit distant from us. But we are still suffering from the fuel price hikes, the price of everything's gone up, inflation. So can you share your thoughts on the impact, negative impact of this war in Europe over Southeast Asia?
War is not a solution to conflicts. There will always be conflicts between nations, but the solution should be through negotiation, arbitration, or going to a court of law. That is the best way. No one is killed, there is no damage to the country. Unfortunately, we find that the European countries somehow rather needs an enemy. They need an enemy all the time. And that is why during World War II, they were working with the Russians. But the moment they defeated the Germans, they practically declared that our new enemy is Russia. And everything is done against Russia. And Russia, of course, responded in the same way. So there was this Cold War. And we thought that, well, okay, it's a Cold War. But now it has become a hot war. They have again gone back to the old idea that they can solve this problem through war. This is very damaging for the world now, because anything that happens in one place in the world affects the whole world. So we feel that this war is not going to solve anything, but it's going to cause a lot of damage, and a lot of money will be thrown down the drain.
Right. Yeah. My second question. We do not have hot wars in Southeast Asia anymore. The communist rebellions are finished, and the only country where the internal wars have raged on is Myanmar. As you know, we committed as a country genocide against the Rohingya Muslims. Now the military is committing similar atrocities against Christians and Buddhists and other populations and communities that are up in arms against the re-imposition of the military rule. So can you share your thoughts on why it is so important to have a tolerant, inclusive, and harmonious racial and religious communities, not just in Burma, but across Southeast Asia, based on Malaysian experience?
Well, almost all countries now are multiracial or multi-tribal, lots of tribes, and you have to learn to live with each other. In Malaysia, we have 3 major races and about 30 different tribes. But from the very beginning, we thought that violence is not going to give us any peace and develop the country. So we decided that we should represent in the government all the different races, the major races. And this has worked quite well. Of course, there are lots of things that they don't agree, but one thing that they agree is that violence is not going to solve our problem. So we keep on talking. They are all in the government. The government is made up of all the different races and the tribes. And this has worked quite well. Because when you see each other and work together, you become friends. And I mean, it's easier for friends to talk frankly with each other about what is best for the country. And what is best for the country is always stability and peace. Only then can the country grow.
Thank you. My third and final question. You've been in public service for the longest time. You are correctly seen as the oldest statesman in the whole of Asia, and then perhaps around the world as well. 96 and still sharing your thoughts on different international issues. And you spoke at the Asian Nikkei conference on Ukraine and other issues of global importance. Can you share your thoughts on why younger generation people of Southeast Asia, your grandchildren's age and younger, why it's important for them to take an interest in improving the political systems of their countries, whatever they are called, whether they are called like hybrid democracy or whatever the name of a political system. Because you were trained as a medical doctor, but you've devoted your life to the public service.
Well, the young people will inherit this world. In every country, the young people notice the failures of the present governments and all that. So if they want to change, they can change, because the old people cannot change. So they must prepare themselves for taking over, but not immediately, not change an old government with a young government, but the young people are going to grow, and when they grow, they have acquired a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, and they know what is wrong and what they want to see in their country. So the young people should initially try and influence the old people, always remembering that one day the young people will rule the country, and they must bring their ideals into the government that they form and try and create a good government where peace will prevail and people will have a reasonably good life.
Thank you, Dr. Mahathir, for giving us time for FORSEA. Thank you so much, and wishing you a centenary.